everyone, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about my fall TBR, so everything I want to read in September, October, and November. I will be doing separate videos most likely for October and November, but I did want to combine my September TBR with this video. So I'm going to kind of talk about specifically in September what is on my radar, what I'd love to pick up, and then we'll get into everything else that I want to read this fall. So this year I'm embracing the fall season way sooner than I typically do. I'm not really sure why that is, but this year I'm just really feeling the vibes as soon as September 1st hits. So I've already started pulling out my pumpkins, all my fall decor, but also with my reading I would love to pick up some more horror and obviously my typical thrillers and stuff like that. I have a lot of fantasy on here, more than you would expect. I don't know if they really fit the fall season necessarily, but in general to me, fantasy is kind of a fall vibe. So anyway, let's just get right into it. What I would love to read in September. I have a long list here for September and just for fall in general, just because I'm trying to adapt a new look on TBRs and just filling the list kind of as much as possible, so that way I have more options to go off of throughout the month or throughout the season. It's definitely not like a solid I'm going to read every single one of these on this list. These are what I'm feeling, what I'm craving at the moment. It's hoping that those vibes stay true throughout the whole month so that I do pick up the majority of these. So I have a basis to go off of and I'm not just like scrambling throughout the month like I don't know what I want to pick up. Nothing sounds good right now, so this is what that list is to kind of keep me on track with what I would love to read during this time. I will pop up the book covers for you to see. First on my list is actually a romance, and I have a good amount of romance on this list too, and I'm not really sure what that's about, but I guess I'm in the romance mood right now. I heard Heather from Heath's Book Club, I believe is what she's on Instagram, and I think her YouTube channel is just Heather McClary. I heard her talking about this book on her Instagram. It's called It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time by Kylie Scott. She put like 3 little bullet points, like it's age gap, it's a dad, and something else. I can't remember, but I just remember seeing her post about it and being like, oh my gosh, I'm immediately adding this to my TBR because this is everything and more that I would love to read in a romance. She seemed to really be enjoying it. So I put it on here. I definitely would love to download it on my, I think it might already be downloaded on my Kindle, but I don't know. If not, I definitely want to get a hold of it so that I can possibly pick it up this month. But yeah, age gap romance. I believe it's with a dad. Sticking to the romance, also for September, I would love to read The Truth About Tomorrow by B. Celeste. I'm currently reading The Truth About Heartbreak, which is technically the first book in this series, and I'm really excited for this second book. I heard McKay talking about this one on a video I clicked on of hers for dark romances, and this was one of them that she recommended. She said it's very heavy on the dark part. I don't know what that means, like heavy on the dark. We're kind of going in blind to a lot of these, but based on people's recommendations on YouTube or on Instagram, I just add it to my TBR if it sounds interesting to me. So yes, I have that one. I'm currently reading the first one. I don't know if I mentioned that. So in September, I want to pick up the second one. Also for romance, I would love to read Ignite by Melanie Harlow. I was going to pick this up like 2 months ago for the Sugar and Spice book club, but I haven't been able to stay really on top with the book club readings, unfortunately, so I didn't read this one yet, but it still intrigues me because, again, I think it is a dad romance. I want to read that one. And then another romance I have is The Billionaire by Marnie Mann. These are all books on KU that I have already downloaded on my Kindle that I would love to get through so that I can kind of clear out my Kindle Unlimited stock right now because I'm maxed out with all the books that I have downloaded for KU, so I need to read them to then undownload and re-download some other ones. So that's the goal for September too, is to try to get through all of my Kindle reads. My final romance on my September TBR list is the Mind F series. This is like a thriller romance, and I think it's more like thriller. I don't really know what to expect with this one. Fugitive falls in love with her FBI agent or something like that. It's very popular. The books are super short and it's a whole ass series. So I wanted to read the whole series in September because I've always been really intrigued by it. So I'm hoping to pick that up this month. Now, the other thriller that I have on this list is Watching You by Lisa Jewell, again on my Kindle. I do need to get through some Lisa Jewell books. I have a lot on my TBR. And then I don't really have any other thrillers like on this list, but I could always like jump over to my fall TBR and like grab some thrillers from there if specifically in September I wanted to pick them up. But the other ones I have on my September list are mostly horror, but I also have some YA. I have the Lunar Chronicles series. The first book is called Cinder, and it's a young adult sci-fi series. It has been on my radar for a very, very long time. These books are also on KU. That's why I was like, ooh, I should just read them on my Kindle, even though I really would love to have the physical copies at some point. The paperbacks are super cute. I figured I should just finally get into this series because there's so many series like this that I've been putting off because I'm scared to start another series when I'm in the middle of so many already. I want to kind of get into more young adult sci-fis. So this is one that I've been eyeballing for a very, very long time. So I thought that this would be the time to try it since I am feeling that genre right now. And then the other young adult sci-fi I have on here is one that I have physically actually. The third and final book in a series, and that is The Towering Sky by Katharine McGee. So this is in the 1000th Floor series. I talked about this in my book recommendation tag video. I really loved these first two books and I've not read the third one. I need to pick it up and I need to close out this series finally. I don't know what the third one's going to be about, but I love the world and I love the characters, so I'm excited for this one. So I really hope that I have time to pick that up. And then another series that I want to continue, another young adult, is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this is the second book in the Inheritance Game series. I liked the first book. I think I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't anything like super groundbreaking for me, but I'm still wanting to continue the series. I hope I pick it up. Let's see what else. I have 1, 2, 3 horror books on my list. Extreme horror, I believe. At least 2 of these are extreme horror. I wanted to try. I haven't really gotten into that genre very much, but I've always wanted to. So I took a couple recommendations from Haley Hughes and Aspen from Aspen's Archive. Their recommendations at the end of Aspen's video from their part 2 of the whole discussion that they had. I took some recommendations from them, and the 2 that I have from that is Night of the Prowler by John Athan. This one I wanted to give a go because it sounded the most like me, like my vibe, with like a serial killer stalker, like the real scary stuff. It seems really creepy and it seems totally at my alley, so I wanted to give that one a go. And then kind of similar to that, I have Anybody Home by Michael J. Seidlinger, The Home Invasion. So the vibe is definitely to be scared shitless. That's what I'm going for. I thought that these 2 would do that for me. Also, I have on here Intercepts by TJ Payne. Don't really know a lot about this, but the cover intrigues me, and it was another recommendation from the horror girlies. They know what they're talking about. I believe Aspen recommended this one specifically, or she's the one that put it on my radar. And then finally, for September, I have our next family book club pick. I always have to include these obviously because family book club going strong. Our next pick is a historical fiction actually, so we're definitely shaking it up, doing a little something different here. It's called Before We Were Yours. This is what it looks like. I can't remember the author. It's like Lisa Wingate or something like that, I want to say, but this is what it looks like. It's historical fiction and I'm reading it for family book club. Diving into my fall TBR in general, some things that I have here that I would love to get to. A priority for me would definitely be the new Riley Sager, The Only One Left. I was able to get a copy of this over the weekend, so I definitely want to read this. I'll probably pick it up in September if we're being honest, but if I don't during the fall, I do want to pick it up, even though I think it's kind of like a summer. It could be like a summer horror. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Maybe just like because the setting, but it says Gothic House of Horrors. Definitely spooky and definitely still like a thriller, obviously, so that's good for fall. And then another thriller that I want to read during the fall season is The Family Game by Catherine Stedman. Heard that this one takes place between the time of Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I wanted to read it around that same time as well. I guess that's it for thrillers, honestly, guys. I don't have a lot of thrillers on these lists because I wanted to kind of focus more on horror. You know, if I'm feeling the thriller vibes, obviously I will pick up whatever thriller that intrigues me. But I guess specifically, like right now when I'm breaking it all up via genres, there's not that many classified thrillers on this list. I do have a lot of horror. So the other horror that I want to read is Brother. I heard that this is a really great extreme horror book. Another one recommended by Haley from Haley Hughes. These are all, because I go to those two girlies for my horror recommendations, Haley and Aspen. So that's where all of these books are basically coming from. The next one is Cirque Berserk. Super creepy clown horror. So yes. And then this one I found after reading some Stephen Graham Jones. I wanted to like kind of read some more of his. So the next one I have on my Kindle to read is called Zombie Sharks with Metal Teeth. I think this one is fairly short too. The title alone has me very intrigued. I do want to read this one by Stephen Graham Jones. And then of course I do want to throw in a Stephen King. I would love to pick up Misery. This one is kind of a fan favorite, or I feel like I hear the most about this one. If I had to pick one Stephen King that I would want to read, is this one. If we're being honest, I'll probably get into some more of his books in the fall because that's just a great time to read Stephen King, I feel like. Also one that I really would love to get to this year because I put it off almost every single year, but it's definitely one that I want to read during this fall season, and that is House of Leaves. Yes, I've had this for like 2 years now. Every single fall I've been wanting to get to it. Please bully me into reading it this year because I want this to be the year that I finally read this book. You catch me in November not having read this yet. If it's not in my September or my October wrap-up videos, just feel free to bully me in the comments and tell me that I need to read House of Leaves. Sorry if I'm looking a little bit shiny. I'm kind of sweating now. It's hot in here. It's not exactly fall weather yet, which is making me angry, but hopefully soon enough. I also put my glowy makeup, my glowy look on today, so it's not all sweat. It's supposed to be like that. Also, I put T. Kingfisher books on here, so I want to read all of their books. What Moves the Dead has been on my radar for a while, and then the second one recently came out, What Feasts at Night. Love the cover of these, and I've been wanting to pick up What Moves the Dead for a really long time, so I just put T. Kingfisher on here as a whole, because I'd also love to try the Twisted Ones and Nettle and Bone. And then my last horror, we have some other genres to talk about, but my last horror on this list is the new Mona Awad. It's called Rouge, and I believe this is coming out in November, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe even September. I know it's coming out in the near future, so I definitely want to try and read that one. Now we have some fantasy books that I want to read. I would love to read the Darker Shade of Magic series. So I have the trilogy here: A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, A Conjuring of Light. So this series is by V.E. Schwab, and her next book in the series, Fragile Threads of Power, is coming out very soon. So I wanted to read these three and then get the fourth book to read. I'm really excited about that because I do love V.E. Schwab. We know this. And I haven't gotten to that series yet, and I really want to. Also a series that I want to continue and finish, the Mortal Instruments series. I have put this on my TBR so many times. Just the third book, because that's the one I'm on. I've read the first 2 books in the series, but I need to get to City of Glass. So this is the next one that I would need to pick up. And I put this book on my TBR like almost every single month. I need to get to it. So I really hope I do, because I want to read the 4th one, City of Fallen Angels, and then the 5th one, City of Lost Souls, and then the 6th one I don't own, but it's City of Heavenly Fire. So I want to finish the Mortal Instruments series. Another fantasy I want to read is Fourth Wing, of course, by Rebecca Yarros. Need to put this on my list because I do want to read it soon. I would love to read the Zodiac Academy. I don't know about this. I'm putting like the entire series on this list. I wanted to maybe at least start the series. I know there are a crap ton of books, so I'm not finishing it, obviously, in the fall. I'm interested to read those. They're also on KU, so that's why I feel like they could be easy fantasy romances to delve into this season. For the romance books I want to read in fall is a super popular one I've seen a lot about on Bookstagram, and it's called A Love Letter to Whiskey. I don't really know what it's about, but I'm just intrigued by all the hype, and the cover is pretty, so I'd love to read this one. And then I also have The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker, I want to say. This is also a pretty popular one that's been around for a while, heard good things about, so I would love to read this one as well. And then finally, another series that I'd love to start, YA fantasy, is Crave by Tracy Wolff. I own the first book, so I wanted to throw it on this list because I have it. I may as well read it, and we'll see if I like this or not. I don't know. I really want to try it. And there's a lot of books in this series too, so if I do like it, I got a lot of content to blow through, so definitely want to read that too. I think those are all the books. If you have any more that you'd love to see me read, you want to add to this list, feel free to comment and let me know. But those are all the ones that I've kind of pulled together, and we'll see how the reading actually goes. Find out which ones make it to my wrap-up videos. It'll be fun to see. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're planning to read this fall season, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!